Underground family, welcome to another game of the week edition. Week 15 Xbox side action. We have C-Jack and the Miami Dolphins taking on Cal Bear in the Houston Texans. My name is Black Phoenix alongside my guy, Philly Guy. And Philly Guy, how you feeling about this matchup that we're about to witness here?
Man, I am so excited. Every game from here on out is going to have meaning, is going to matter. This is a pivotal game. You've already seen the video from Cal Bear talking about how important it is. AFC South, AFC East, they've been beefing all season.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because the AFC, like you mentioned, is such a tight race. You pretty much cannot afford to lose any game here as the regular season is coming to a close here. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two are gonna do. Cal Bear first time in the Xbox side of the house, 10-3 with the Houston Texans. Again, no small feat in itself. That is a huge accomplishment. But C-Jack, 9-4 currently with the Dolphins, has all that speed as you see right there on your left side of the screen. Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, definitely the guys to watch here. But let's talk about Cal Bear real quick, Philly. Like I mentioned before, the Houston Texans, before Cal Bear took over, they're a very tough team to build around, especially if you don't win a lot of games early in the first couple of seasons. But Cal Bear in his first season able to turn things around, right the ship here. And, talk about how much skill it takes in Cal Bear's case to, right the ship and be in the playoff hunt as he is right now.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, it's short of a miracle. You talk about the talent. He clearly has the coaching acumen to turn the team around, which he has. He has the Dolphins on the PS5 side, so he's very familiar with this team that he's facing again. He's definitely going to have a lot more talent on his team when this season is over with. But, what he's done has been nothing short of remarkable. Absolutely amazing.
Definitely. And we're going to see C-Jack start the ball off right here. C-Jack, again, like you mentioned, with the Miami Dolphins, all that speed on the offensive side of the ball, even changed Tua's handedness a little bit. So Tua's, you're going to see, for those that are just tuning in and not familiar, you can edit the handedness of your quarterback. So you're going to see Tua throw with his right hand instead of his left hand. But the interesting thing about C-Jack right here, as we see him set up his audibles and formations and everything like that, used to be more of a runner in the first couple of seasons that we called his games, Philly. But now C-Jack's more open to pass the ball right here. So a little bit interesting change of scheme right there in order to get Tua Tagovailoa a little bit more passing abilities right there.
Yeah, I mean, you see the in the backfield tackle there by the Texans. Great way to get pressure to try to force C-Jack to actually pass more than run. But, C-Jack, he's been old school since he's been on that Madden bus, right? So he's going to use the run to set up the pass. And so if you know him as a runner, then it's going to open a lot of things, and you tend to forget. Maybe you come up and try to press, which is what he's looking for, so that he can bomb you downfield with all that speed.
Yeah, and again, that was the big knock on C-Jack for the first couple of seasons was had all those weapons, why not use them? And he just stuck with the run game. But even talking to him before the season, he told me specifically, he said, when I get that set feet lead and when I get that 90 strong arm onto a Tagovailoa, watch out. It's going to be fireworks. And again, so far so good. Tua is one away from actually having that set feet lead ability that we talk about so much here on Madden Underground. So again, it's going to be interesting to see when playoff time comes around how C-Jack's always going to look different. But right now, we got 3rd and 12 right now for C-Jack. Tua Tagovailoa making those adjustments, coming out in this wing slot offset formation, 2 tight ends on the field. It's going to look like he's going to motion Gesicki out to the right side of your screen here. It's going to take a snap right here and throw it right to Gesicki and makes a guy miss. And that's going to be a first down for C-Jack. So right off the bat right here, looking good so far in the pass game. 1 for 15 for C-Jack right now, Philly.
Yeah, he's just taking his time. You talked about him having set feet lead. And honestly, it's really more a testament to how he wants to run his offense because he has so much speed. And it's really, really difficult, and you have to focus on how you want to play against him. So Cal Bear is trying to feel him out here, and C-Jack is just kind of taking what he's giving him. But I don't expect for him to be sitting back and not taking some shots downfield.
Yeah, you definitely got to expect that again, like you mentioned, all that speed. And also keep in mind, Cal Bear does not have any abilities at all on the defensive side. So again, that opens up so many things that you can do if you're C-Jack. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what he does to put it all together here. As we got 2nd and 9 right here. C-Jack coming out in his tight offset tight end. something that we've been accustomed to seeing him all season long here. As Tua's going to take a snap, and that's going to be Tyreek Hill. Speaking of speed, he's actually going to miss that throw, wide open right there. 3rd and 9 for CJ, but man, Philly, you don't get too many chances like that, especially that wide open. And Tyreek Hill unable to catch that, and CJ unfortunately missed that throw.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how far behind the secondary he was, and he just missed the throw. But yeah, I mean, he's sitting here, he's crossed the 50, and he's taking his shots.
Yeah, and again, take another shot right there, and that's a dangerous one right there. Try to force that one. 4th and 9. Again, great adjustments for Cal Bear. Cal Bear in this nickel over G formation on defense. So for those that are wondering what defense he's in, this is not the nickel over, but the over G. So a lot more different adjustments that you got to do out of this over G, depending on what kind of package you come out in defensively. But Cal Bear doing a great job right now. See if he can do it again. 4th and 9. Pressure coming in, and down goes Tua. And just like that, Cal Bear taking over on offense. Great defense right there from Cal Bear.
Yeah, you really like what Cal Bear is doing. You have to be disappointed in the way that C-Jack is attacking this particular formation. If you don't know, there are some different defensive hot route options that you can do because you have the 3 safeties on the field. They cover different parts of the field. And C-Jack is really kind of playing into the defense right now. I mean, it's a little bit more different if he flips. It's a little bit more different if he tries to flood one particular side of the field. But, he's got an opportunity to make those adjustments. And, we'll see what happens because this is going to be a long game.
Yeah, now you get to see Cal Bear taking over on offense. That's Caleb Williams, the rookie out of South California right there. Try to make it a little bit happen with 2nd and 12 here. Try to do a quarterback draw, nothing doing right there. We see BKP in the chat, aka the Steelers, and we know he's watching this game intently as his Steelers are 11-3 right now. So Cal Bear winning this one or losing this one definitely has more implications for BKP. But in the meantime, we got Rhodes out to the flat right there. 3rd and 3 for Cal Bear. So this is a little bit different formation right here. Gun empty bunch Philly. Something, again, you don't see too often, a little off meta, but it's going to be interesting to see what Cal Bear can do with the Houston Texans and this offense.
Yeah, we saw Cal Bear when he was playing against the Buffalo Bills and Diggs when he first unveiled this formation, and we saw him get loose with the quarterback. Obviously, he's got a lot of different seams that he can attack. He also has speed at the receiver position, so it'll be interesting to see who wins out. This defensive line of the Dolphins or the decision-making from Cal Bear.
Yeah, and that was an interesting pass right there. Speaking of offense, that's going to be Zach Evans out there in the flat right there. So 1st and 10 for Cal Bear and the Texans. Eli Apple credited with the tackle on that one. So it's going to be interesting to see what C-Jack does to make some adjustments here. As Cal Bear is going to switch it up right here. Going to go gun tight here. And Ashley is going to motion out to the left side of the field right here. Number 17 on your screen. And he's going to run it right there with Evans. And nothing doing right there. Gain of 3 right there. Modest gain right there. So 2nd and 7 going a little up-tempo right now. Hurry up offense. Williams marking out the orders and the hot route adjustments right here. And it looks like CJ coming out is 3-3-5 wide. It's something that, again, has been very, very popular in Madden. And then Williams going to fight extra yards right there. Gain of 6 right there. Again, going no huddle right here. 3rd and 1 for Cal Bear and the Houston Texans right here. We're going to see another change right here. Looks like it's going to be a gun trip set. Gun trips tight end offset right here. It starts gun bunch open. And again, see what Cal Bear is going to decide to do right here. As we're going to see a run handoff to Zach Evans. And he doesn't get in right there. 1st and goal. But right now, Cal Bear knocking on the door right there, Philly, but just can't seem to punch it in. Just needs like a little bit more, and he can punch it in and take the lead right here.
Yeah, I mean, he put himself in excellent position. It's 4 shots with quarterback dive out of goal line if he wants it. And, it's interesting to see their different styles of play because their ability to run the ball in key situations is probably going to be the difference. And Cal Bear is going to have to do something because he hasn't been able to punch it in on 2 quarterback dives. But, maybe he can hold on to it a little bit longer and get that touchdown.
Yeah, and speaking of hold on a little bit longer, C-Jack's defense holding on a little bit longer right there on that 3rd down stop. So 4th and goal right here. Obviously, you can take 3 here. But, again, if you turn the ball over on downs, that's not a bad thing. as CJ would take it over at the 1. So again, the potential for safeties or anything like that. But again, Cal Bear foregoing the option to take his points right here. So we'll see what he decides to dial up right here. As he's going to motion the receiver inbounds, and that's going to be Zach Evans right there. And just like that, Zach Evans able to score. And just like that, Cal Bear going up 7-0 over C-Jack. And Philly, let me know what you liked about that. We see Zach Evans twice in that flat route, and C-Jack decided to lob it instead of bullet pass it. So again, what did you like out of that whole drive from Cal Bear so far?
Well, what I really like, especially about that last play, was the fact that he attacked the safety. And when you look at what C-Jack is calling, he's really giving pretty much everything that Cal Bear could possibly want on the right side of the field, just because of the one-on-one matchups. And so that time, he was able to get the ball out quickly. The safety wasn't able to get there in time. And C-Jack is going to have a hard time because he's not able to generate the pressure, and Cal Bear's not holding on to the ball long enough to allow him to do that.
Yeah, and just for record right there, Zach Evans, that's going to be his 11th receiving touchdown of the year. So again, having a very good season right there. And speaking of good seasons, there's going to be another running back right there for C-Jack that's also having himself a pretty good season as well. So 2nd and 12 for C-Jack. And again, Philly, we talked about it, missed that shot to Tyreek wide open. And don't think Cowboys going to give up too many of those too often. But again, going back to that running game right there, nothing doing 3rd and 13. So not a good start so far for C-Jack on the second drive right now, Philly.
No, and I really feel like he's playing a little bit too conservative. We know what the strengths of Big Nickel are, and being able to stop the run is one of them. But as you can see, the whole middle of the field is wide open. So clearly Cal Bear has done his homework. He's taking away those vertical routes. He's taking away the corner routes. And so C-Jack is going to have to figure out some different combinations that he can take advantage of. Maybe something underneath where he can keep the ball rolling and then take his shots downfield once he crosses the 50.
Shout out to Trey for Life in the chats, definitely saying what the hell. And yeah, shout out to Trey, rocking that Washington Commanders team. Again, very tough on the NFC side, despite all the criticism. Still a sweatfest over there. And unfortunately for CJ, dropping the ball right there. So Cal Bear taking over on downs again with good field position. Going to start at the 25-yard line. Great defense right there for Cal Bear.
Yeah, again, everything is open underneath, but, C-Jack hasn't really taken advantage of that yet. And so Cal Bear is looking to put some more points on the board so he can at least jump out to enough of a lead where C-Jack will possibly stop running the ball as much and maybe just try to go vertical the whole game.
Yeah, 2nd and 11 for Cal Bear again. Houston, Texas. Caleb Williams is your guy under center, taking all the snaps right there. And down goes Williams. Speaking of which, that's going to be Ronald Darby credited with half a sack. So 3rd and 11 for Cal Bear. Going to motion Albert O over to the left side of your screen right there. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what Cal Bear dials up right here. He's going to take the snap. 3rd and 11, has a guy wide open, doesn't decide to throw that. That's going to be red wine for C-Jack with the interception right there. And C-Jack able to get down to the 26-yard line right there. Interesting decision to go instead of the wide open guy, throw it right into that user right there, Philly. That's something you want to do too often against C-Jack.
Yeah, it was great defense by C-Jack, but you can't be mad at Cal Bear trying to be aggressive, holding on to the ball a little bit longer. You let the tight end in to block. Didn't get the separation on some of the routes he was looking for, but he's obviously trying to do big things in the passing game. And unfortunately, he did force the ball that time and couldn't come away with at least 3.
Yeah, speaking of forcing the ball right there, that could have been dangerous right there as he tries to force the ball out of a sack right there. 3rd and 10 for Siege. Again, has not been able to get the ball rolling right here. We're seeing 2 drives pretty much stall out back to back here. So again, maybe he tries a little bit different. It looks like he is going to go something a little bit different with trips tight end offset. So giving Cal Bear a little bit of a different look. Let's see if that works for him. It's going to go verticals. And speaking of verticals, there goes a receiver that drops it. That's going to be 4th and 10 for C-Jack. And man, Philly, he just cannot get the ball rolling right now. He's been trying 3 straight drives so far. Again, pending this 4th down play right here. that he just has not been able to move the ball effectively like he normally would love to here in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't attacked anything underneath. When we're looking at this formation, I mean, you can see that all 5 members of the secondary, they're playing off, so there's no heat coming from them, which means you keep your eyes on those linebackers and, maybe you try to run some different combinations that'll give you an opportunity to not throw the ball like that downfield. Make him respect you vertically. You can at least have one route underneath. But, C-Jack is really his own worst enemy right now. And it's easy to say with us sitting on the sidelines watching this game, but he's going to have to make some adjustments, and we just got to wait and see if he can do that.
Yeah, and again, Jalen Petrie right there on the interception right there, trying to get the ball all the way downfield at the last minute. Can't do that, especially under pressure like that. Going to miss more times than not. And speaking of miss, almost made a guy miss right there on that defensive tackle, but able to make that tackle right there for a loss right there. 2nd and 12 for Cal Bear, taking over once again. And again, Cal Bear, again, missed a read right there, threw it right to C-Jack. Potentially misses 6 right there, and he's going to throw a corner route. That's going to be Rhodes right there. Great play, great throw, great catch right there. And just like that, Cal Bear right on the move right there at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Gave himself a little bit more space to throw that corner route. Last time he was in the middle of the field. But, he's giving C-Jack a lot of things to think about. He's got to respect his quarterback running, and he's attacking both of those safeties since C-Jack is deciding to bring that man pressure.
Yeah, and speaking of pressure, they're trying to bring it once again. Zach Evans out to the flat. 2nd and 3 right now. Gain of 7 from Zach Evans. Again, having himself a good year, especially receiving the ball. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what Williams decides to dial up here. Going gun tight right here. For those that don't know, Cal Bear is in that Washington Commanders playbook. So you then have a litany of options they could choose from. And speaking of options, Zach Evans on the ground this time takes a big shot right there, but able to get the first down right here. 2-minute warning is approaching. So again, it's interesting to see what Cal Bear decides to do right here. You see C-Jack trying to make those adjustments, moving Darby all the way outside, trying to use that so Cal Bear cannot throw that halfback flat route that he's been doing so well. And it seems like Cal Bear is very, very content with taking this all the way down to the 2-minute warning. Again, nothing that you need to rush right here, Philly, especially this is just good clock management, professional right there, professional move right there, smart decisions.
Yeah, he's making better decisions. He knows that, he didn't get the 3 points the last time, but he was being aggressive for a reason. And right now, defensively, he's been doing what he needs to do. And so C-Jack is going to have to figure out how to stop his safeties from giving up these short yardage situations because Cal Bear is eating.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be for a touchdown right there. Khalil Mack able to get that animation on that dive right there. There's going to be a timeout right there for C-Jack. Again, trying to preserve as much time as he can, again, because Cal Bear's in the goal line situation. Even if he gets the first down, that's going to be a touchdown. So C-Jack will still have plenty of time to move the ball downfield depending on what Cal Bear does here. So gun empty bunch once again, 7-yard line, 2nd and goal right here. Cal Bear with the Texans, C-Jack with the Dolphins. And again, gun empty bunch has been the name of the game right here as Cal Bear's going to find a wide open receiver, and that's going to be a touchdown for Cal Bear as Ashley able to get free right there. C-Jack not knowing who to guard right there. Great route combination. And just like that, the kick is up and kick is good. And just like that, Philly 14-0, Cal Bear in complete control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to acknowledge everything that he's done during the season and even what he's doing during this game. C-Jack needs to adjust. Like I said before, those safeties are in one-on-one matchups underneath. How are they going to play? They're not going to be able to come up underneath and stop these receivers. And then, Cal Bear has been successful in playing on his side of the field. So C-Jack's going to have to do something to try to get loose and at least put some points up on the board before the half.
Yeah, let's see if he can do it. That's a good start right there. Handing off to the running back right there. Able to get a gain of 10 pretty much, but they're going to call it inches right now. And he's going to take the ball and hand it off to his receiver right there. 1st and 10. First down for C-Jack right here. 1minute and 18 seconds left to go. Try another trap right there. Not able to do it. That's arcane right there. 2nd and 6, gain of 4. Hurry up offense for C-Jack. Another snap right here. Flat route. Interception right there. And that's going to be Ohe Moutier for the interception. And that's going to be a pick 6 for C-Jack. For Cal Bear. And just like that, Philly, 21-0. Cal Bear is in complete control of this game and absolutely dominated C-Jack right now.
C-Jack is again, he's making it too easy for Cal Bear. You see the corner is out there. You see it's baseline. Why aren't you having your receiver come across the formation from left to right instead of right to left? He's playing into Cal Bear's hands. I mean, you see Cal Bear moving people back. You have time in the pocket. You need at least somebody. Have that receiver on the left. Maybe he's coming on an in route or a drag route, send the rest of them vertical. But you can't have him trying to run a speed out to the left side. He went right to the defender, and that's what's supposed to happen. So excellent play calling by Cal Bear. C-Jack is going to have to tighten up and start making some better decisions if he wants to try to come back in this game.
Yeah, speaking of decisions right there, going hurry up twice right there. 36 seconds left to go. And again, dangerous pass right there. And able to get out of bounds right there. So dangerous living right now for C-Jack. But some receivers that we haven't heard all game long. Jalen Waddle, where is he at? Tyreek Hill, besides that one shot that he took, has not been able to show up right here. But this time he might, as he lobs it up right there and almost intercepted for Cal Bear right there. But again, Philly, we talked about this early on. Again, C-Jack is so used to being able to run the ball and then hit you deep. But this time, like you mentioned, he's playing right into the strengths of Cal Bear because, again, Cal Bear's been doing his homework. He's been doing his scouting report right now and obviously has a great beat on what C-Jack wants to do. But this might be the opportunity that C-Jack needs right there. And that's going to be Jalen Waddle down to the 2-yard line. 20 seconds left to go. Timeout, C-Jack. And that might be the play that he needs to get back into this game.
Yeah, even in that situation, he had 4 of them going verticals. Nice little RPO action there, able to punch it in. But you can at least have one of your receivers, sitting down in the middle or coming across the formation underneath. Let that be your check down, because at this point, he only got that completion because of the speed on the field. And if you're a passer, I know that you're having a fit right now watching him run his offense. But if you're a runner, then you understand, he's trying to use that play action to open everything up, and just is not doing a good job with these route combinations.
Yeah, and speaking of not doing a good job, went for 2 right there, tried to go stretch right there, unable to convert. So again, interesting decision right there. I don't necessarily agree with that. I see why you go for 2 in that situation, but I don't necessarily agree with it. Again, you still have plenty of time left to go in the game, so I don't think you really need to force the issue like you did just there. But again, as a result, 6-21 here as your score going to be probably at half unless Williams gets free, and Williams might be free. Not necessarily, but he does get a timeout in with 8 seconds left to go in the half. But let me ask you, Philly, do you agree with that decision to go for 2 right there, especially now he's down 15? Again, I see why you go for it, but again, I don't know if I agree with that. What say you?
No, I agree with you 100%. You're already down 3 scores. You finally put some points on the board. You don't have anything to gain. Like, getting that extra point still puts you down 2 scores, and he probably should have kicked the field goal. The extra point. Because at the end of the day, maybe you go for it if Cal Bear, is up 24, but he wasn't. He was up 21. So, we'll see what C-Jack can do, make some adjustments. But right now, all credit goes to Cal Bear. This is the reason why he's been able to turn around his franchise, spend a lot of money in free agency to improve his team. And then, he's been coming up with different schemes to get his players the ball, making good reads, and just playing smart football. So it's easy to see why he's turned this franchise around, and he looks to be winning this game.
Yeah, and we seen earlier in the day, Cal Bear posting that message in the Discord saying, you can't afford to lose a game. This is what Madden Underground is all about. Basically trying to spark some life into that Discord and the competitors here in Madden Underground. And I definitely appreciate that as a competitor. But again, we're seeing why, the lab time and the adjustments and the free agent spending that he's been doing this all season, it has been paying off right here. He's going to look to take another shot right here, but doesn't seem like nobody's going to get open right there. But great decision to scramble, almost going to fumble right there had that gone differently. But to your point though, Philly, again, that's the difference between, most guys. the experienced Madden Underground League players and those that may not know what they're doing is, like you said, the free agency spending, knowing exactly what you do with the coach points. You know, we talk about schemes, you know, building that team around your scheme and stuff like that. And like you said, we're seeing the huge dividends pay off right now as he's dominating C-Jack. Again, that pretty much a favorite or one of the favorites here to make it all the way through. But let me get your thoughts one more time on the excellent job that Cal Bear is doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about what he posted in Discord, you know, he's emphasizing how tough it is to be able to make the playoffs in the AFC. And when you watch him run this offense right now, he's obviously reading when C-Jack is in zone, when he's in man, and he's running concepts that are very simple but effective. And so he's focusing on the bigger fish. You don't see him in there, you know, talking about what the Patriots aren't doing or what the Eagles or the Raiders aren't doing. You know, he's focused on who he's going to be facing in the playoffs, who he needs to beat. And he's showing them right now, look, if you don't come prepared, you're going to be sent home early because I'm out here to win. I'm trying to turn this thing around. And if you're not ready, if you can't match that intensity, then it's going to be GG's in the chat.
Yeah, gonna be sitting home and spectating. Well, shout out to Benzine Slayer in the chat. What's going on? How you doing? Hope you're doing well out there. Yeah, and also shout out to 69 people in the chat right now. We appreciate you guys' love and support here. Make sure to go ahead and hit that follow button for us on Twitch, or make sure to hit that subscribe button for us, no matter if you're watching on YouTube, and then also hit us with a follow if you're watching on Twitter and or Facebook. We appreciate your viewership as always. And if you guys are interested in joining the league, you're seeing this matchup right now and thinking, man, this is the competition I gotta face. I can join the league. Well, hey, sign up, MaddenUnderground.com. Again, PS5 and Xbox leagues. You know, again, put your money where your mouth is. And again, if you sign up, we'll get in contact with you. But again, you know, T-Dot saying GG's, Trey for Life saying GG's, BKP with the waves talking about a flood. And yes, sir, it definitely is indeed a flood. As CJ's going to get with 3rd and 3 right here after the game from Arcane right here. But again, Philly, you kind of hit it on the head here. You know, this speaks to the level of styles. It speaks to the level of competition that we have. And again, like you mentioned, CJ has, you know, the Dolphins in the PlayStation League. So again, like you mentioned, he knows this team inside and out. He knows the strengths, he knows the weaknesses. And again, we're seeing that advanced scouting pretty much, or that experience paying off right here against CJ right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Cal Bear having the team knows that plays like that can happen at a moment's notice. And so what C-Jack has done is he's made it easier for Cal Bear to have less moments like that because he's being very predictable in his formations and his play calling. And so when you're watching this game and you're seeing what C-Jack is doing, well, C-Jack has had success. So there's no reason for him to deviate from his style of play because he's above 500. He's in the playoff hunt. And so this is one of those style makes fight type situations. And C-Jack is definitely going to go back. He's going to look at this game. He's going to look at the games that he's lost against his playoff opponents. And he's going to say, okay, you know what? Here's what I have to add to my skill set if I'm going to be successful. Because right now, it's about everything Brian James has talked about, the adjustment to the adjustment. Yep. So if you can play against somebody that's probably going to be in the playoffs and that is a playoff caliber opponent, and you can actually learn from that mistake, and you don't have to go home and wonder what you did wrong this season, you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely do. And again, you know, BKP kind of mentioned it right there. Roman Reigns came to win. You know, I definitely agree with that statement. You know, again, and we're seeing it right there. He came to win. He came to play. And again, CJ able to bounce back and get some life with the score by Tyreek Hill right there. But again, hasn't made the adjustment to the adjustment, and it doesn't seem like he has an answer for this gun empty bunch that Cal Bear has been coming out in here. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments he can make this time, as we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter of action right here. Going to Marshall Albert all the way to the left side, going to create a bunch nasty kind of look, and that's going to be Zach Evans on that quick base, able to get a gain of 9 right there. And you see those stadium factors also playing a factor into this too. Again, with Shook, with a little bit of being able to not see your play call that smoothly here with the wiggles and stuff like that, and also playing confusion. So your offensive art can be incorrect. So again, you're seeing all these coming to a factor here. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what CJ can do to bounce back here. Will the Action Jackson of the Madden bus, Madden Nation, stand up right here? Or is going to let Cal Bear kind of continue to dominate and steamroll him here? And that looks like that's going to be a case here as Williams is going to take it all the way up the middle, parting the Red Sea. And that's going to be another touchdown for Cal Bear right there. And just like that, man, this might be GG's. The fat lady might be singing right here, Philly.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to respect and appreciate just the simple fundamental of what Cal Bear is doing. You know, we talked about CJ making adjustments. He's trying to figure this out. Obviously, we know after this game, he's going to go back and he's going to lab this. He's going to look at it. He's going to see what he should have done differently. And you know, it's just like that. It's just like that. He may not even have an opportunity to compete in the playoffs because of this game. But if he does, and he's able to go back and look at this game, you know, who knows what he's going to do in the playoffs? You never know. So kudos to Cal Bear because he is putting on a show.
Yeah, he definitely is right now. And, you know, again, you know, we talked about playoffs right now. And right now, 8, you know, CJ is sitting at 8th right now. So again, you know, we talked about it so many times, you know, even the guys that are in the league talking about this all the time, especially my guy BKP. He texts me all the time, you know, you can't lose more than a certain amount, especially in the AFC. With the NFC, you know, we out here with 7 losses, 6 losses, you know, 8 losses, some of us, and we're still in the playoff hunt. In the AFC, you lose more than 5, you are pretty much a season ticket holder for the Super Bowl ticket holder, you know, watching the spectator mode. And again, you know, I keep referencing this because it's so important. Again, Cal Bear hit it on the head right there. This is Madden Underground. And if you're not bringing your A game, you know, again, we're seeing the result. You could be, you know, having to readjust, having to kind of figure out what's wrong. We talk about regression. We talk about free agency. We talk about drafts. All that stuff starts to pile on, you know, the longer you sit in spectator mode right there, Philly. And again, you know, I see CJ is trying to make those adjustments. He's trying to find ways to get his guys open, but it just seems like Cal Bear is just one step ahead of him every single time in this particular contest.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the coverage that Cal Bear has been calling, we know that he's making some adjustments to it, but he knows he has to defend these vertical routes. And so, you know, CJ continues to want to attack him on the outside for some strange reason. It's not going to work based on the coverage that's out there. But when you talk about what happens in the AFC, BKP had a huge game against Struggle. BKP was able to come out victorious, and it was more than just a division game. You know, it's an AFC conference game. And BKP, you know, there's no reason that he can actually take a sigh of relief because he knows he has to get right back into it. And it's going to be the same thing for CJ. It's going to be the same thing for the Texans. And people can say whatever they want. You know, oh, the AFC is tougher than the NFC. Well, guess what? It's not your fault that you're in the NFC. It's not your fault that the competition is what it is. You still got to win games. You still got to get a ticket to the dance. And you can continue to build your teams. And style make fights. So if you have the right style and you get matched up against the right person, you know, you too can be victorious. And right now, the style that CJ has, it's not matching up against Cal Bear. And Cal Bear is going to look to try to punch his ticket to getting into those AFC playoffs by winning this game.
Yeah, Trey for Life kind of hit it on the head too. You know, that missed touchdown by Reek definitely was the game that definitely shifted all the momentum into the Cowboys' favor. BKP saying CJ's waiting on that new bus stop to pull up. And maybe that's the case right here as we got Ohe Moutier with another pick right there. That's going to be 2 picks on the day for him. But, you know, we talked about schedules real quick, Philly. Let me bring this up since I got the league pulled up. For CJ especially, and let me tell you guys how tough this road is for him to get in the playoffs, if he can get in the playoffs at this point, especially with this loss. So CJ obviously most likely is going to take a loss to Cal Bear here, right? So that's going to drop him to 5 losses. The following week has to play Diggs.
Yeah.
The week after that has to play BKP and the Steelers, and then he ends up in his regular season finale against you in the Jets again, which has been no cakewalk because he's been playing everybody down to the wire here. So again, like I said, you can't really take a sigh of relief for C-Jack. This again, it's not. We're not trying to diss him at all. Let's just make this clear. We're not trying to diss him. We're not trying to make fun of him, poke fun of him, or anything like that. However, we would be doing him a disservice if we didn't tell him the reality of the situation by losing this game and all these implications that it means. Because again, if he loses and somebody gets hot, say like Struggling or Dimes or any of these other guys that might sneak up and and take a spot right there, this loss right here that we're seeing against Calvert, that could be the one decided blow that really could determine whether or not he gets in the playoffs or not.
Yeah, I mean, when you're forced to play playoff football for 4 or 5 of the last weeks of your season, just the level of competitiveness that says about just trying to get a seat at the table, that lets you know, like you said, how fine of a line it is that you're walking. And right now, there's no margin for error. He can't even just sit back and trip off of this loss because he's got 3 more hell games that he has to get into, just like everybody else. And so even if you do have a position locked up in the playoffs, when you see what these cats are doing week in and week out, you're still going to have to bring it to the playoffs. Everybody that makes the playoffs in the AFC can potentially go and win the Super Bowl. Everybody. And there's going to be some teams that didn't make the playoffs that are just as good, that can be contenders as well. So, C-Jack, again, he's got to look at this game film. He's got to see how he was being played. He's got to figure out how to put it together, because his game against Diggs is critical. He did beat Diggs before, but Diggs ain't the same dude that he was the last time, because Diggs is, he's running the ball. He's calling different formations. He had a chance to evolve earlier, and now he's looking to try to get back to that Super Bowl that he won in the first season.
Yeah, and speaking of that Super Bowl, we saw him in that AFC. Speaking of Diggs, in that AFC Championship, lose against Dimes, and Dimes ended up winning it. And again, Diggs' first season beat Dimes and won it. So it seems like right now the trend is whoever wins out of the AFC Championship pretty much wins the Super Bowl. But again, like you mentioned, you can't afford to take a game off, a week off, or not take it seriously, because again, even for Cal Bear here, looking at his schedule, obviously most likely going to win against C-Jack, but then has to turn around, play Taylor May, who's no slouch. Then next week plays MP in the Colts, again no slouch this particular season, and then ends up playing against Struggling in the Ravens. So again, you mentioned hell games, that's a hell game or a slate of hell games for Calberry. Even take a look at BKP real quick. Has to play Blaze, has to play C-Jack, then plays Trey for Life, who again gave me the most hell game of hell games, I'll be honest, earlier this year. And his run game is pretty serious as well. So like you mentioned, it's just so many things that can happen these last 4 games that could determine, again, who you play in the playoffs first round. That's also important. But 2, whether or not you get to have that seat of the dance, whether or not you actually be able to, play in the playoffs, or are you going to pretty much sit in spectator mode and be like, man, I really wish I would have won early in the season. Or I really wish I would have won against the guy that's in the playoffs, and now I'm, sitting here sad in the booth and everything like that. So, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Again, not even just for the AFC side, but the NFC side. Again, we do have more losses, but again, even for us, we all have to play playoff caliber football, playoff caliber Madden, because otherwise, we also run a risk of being sent to spectator mode right there, Philly.
Yeah, and when you talk about the schedule on the Texans side, I want to answer that really quickly. Yeah. Taylor May had an opportunity to have himself in contention, and things didn't break that way for him. So we expect for him to be back to his winning ways. But, he's definitely looking to play spoiler. I mean, it's going to be a division game. He has no reasons to let anybody win. So, he's going to bring his game. And so when you talk about, those Washington Commanders, I mean, he doesn't get enough credit for pretty much leading the league every season in his rushing attack, and we know that his defense has been formidable because he selected the team. But see, that's the other thing that doesn't get enough credit here is, some of these teams, and I'm going to use the Texans as a great example. Some of these teams, they came in different tiers. And even though the tier is very important, you're also going to talk about the style of play. And then you're also going to talk about the talent that's on these teams. And when you look at the success, when you look at the teams that are winning, when you look at the teams that are having success, you always have to keep in mind that teams are getting better. They're getting better, and we're only playing 4 seasons. So imagine if we were actually playing more than 4 seasons.
Yep.
And if there would be, a shift or a rotation, or, other people, their day would finally come. And even if that doesn't happen, you have to figure out a way to win in this league, no matter what side that you're on, no matter what you have on your team, no matter what tier that you are. And if you can't do that, then yes, you will be in spectator mode. But right now, the Texans, they're going to win this game. They're positioning themselves to try to make a run in the playoffs. And we are going to have some great games that are going to be happening this week. And at this point in time, it looks like he's put everything together, because he has a big win against C-Jack. He's had a big win against Diggs, and he doesn't have the same type of talent. He's playing with a tier 5 team, and you definitely cannot consider him to be an underdog.
Yeah, definitely can. And, again, this game kind of proves it. I mean, we even seen it on the PlayStation 5 side that you cannot count can't count out Cal Bear as an underdog. To me, he's always going to be a contender in the Super Bowl, no matter what year it is, because again, his talent level is up there. But it's something that I want to kind of hit on too. I think a lot of people don't consider it, and we talked about selecting teams and winning with the talent that you do have. We've seen a lot of players in the league, and I'm just being honest from even jumping back into the league. We see a lot of players say, "Oh, I don't have the set feet leads, or I can't win, or I can't, move the ball on offense. I can't be effective." Yet you watch Cal Bear having no set feet lead, right? He's got all these lofting dead eyes, high point dead eyes, sideline dead eyes, stuff like that. That definitely helps him move the ball more effectively on offense, and he hasn't complained once about abilities. I haven't seen him complain like anything like, "Oh, my team is, my team doesn't have a superstar ability. My team doesn't have, bona fide wide receivers and stuff like that." He's able to make it work. We see it right now, 17 to 45. C-Jack has a lot of abilities on his team. Cal Bear does not. That, like, I don't think people realize, the skill, but you also talk about the team aspect of it too, though, Philly. So again, we talk about tier 5s and tier this and everything like that. We may need to start rethinking about the tiers and talk about the players in terms of tiers. Maybe not necessarily the teams, because good players are going to make things happen no matter what. But maybe we need to shift that conversation on the tiers of players and what they can do with these particular teams, Philly.
Yeah, I think it's definitely open for conversation, but also it always really depends on the version of Madden that we have, right? Does it cater to the passing game? Does it cater to the running game? What does it cater to? And when you have people that are very good at passing the ball, they know what they need in order to execute their scheme. When you have people that run the ball, they know what they need to execute their scheme. So, the styles are always going to make the fights. I wouldn't say that Cal Bear is going to be leading the league, rushing with a running back, because you can clearly see that his strength lies in passing the ball. It doesn't mean that he can't do it. It just means that, that's what his strength is. That's what he's showing that he's able to do. You look at these plays that he's been calling, not so much the formations, but he's playing to the strengths of the team. He drafted speed, and whether the patch that came out catered to that, it really doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's in this empty set. And he's clearly attacking C-Jack safeties who are playing off of the ball. He's clearly reading whether he's in man and zone and making his adjustments and running plays that will attack the zone. And so, he won this game defensively. I mean, C-Jack's defense gave up 45 points, and, the Texans defense held C-Jack to 24 points. So, it isn't anything about talent in this specific game as much as it's about the scheme, playing to the strengths, understanding the formations, how your opponent's attacking, and then, like B. James always says, making the adjustment to the adjustment.
Yeah, and again, we've seen. I'm watching the adjustments right now. You see CJ trying to come out and dollar. CJ's trying to come out nickel over now at this point, dime, normal. We've seen that, but again, right there, boom. Speaking of adjustments, not paying attention to the fact that you're in a cover 2 shell, giving up the middle and man-to-man coverage. You don't have the corners to keep up with Cal Bear's receivers, who, by the way, are in the top 90s, upper echelons of the 90s speed tier. So again, not making the adjustments necessary to actually, again, see what Cal Bear is actually doing. Gotta stop right there. But again, that's been a story all game long. Is like I mentioned, Cal Bears always seems to be one step ahead of what CJ's trying to do. Again, we're not trying to diss CJ. I don't want nobody tagging me and being like, "Oh, your Phoenix trying to." No, it's literally just calling it like it is. As a commentator, and you can see this too, Philly. As a commentator, that's all we can do. We call the game and we tell it like it is. And if you didn't like it, well, change it up. That's all it comes down to. But looks like this game is going to be over right here, as looks like the stream went out here. Oh, no, we still got the stream going on. So 45, looks like, well, potentially 45 to 24. Cal Bear taking it over C-Jack right here. And again, coming down this gun empty bunch, been so dominant against C-Jack. Again, been one step ahead of his adjustments right here. And final play of the game. Let's see if he can punch it in. It's going to be an interception for C-Jack again. Javon Holland finally able to get a pick right there and make a guy miss. Nothing doing. So again, 45-24 for Cal Bear and the Houston Texans right there. Big win. Big win right there. Shout out to Riz in the chat. What's going on? How you doing? But let me get your thoughts on this particular win for Cal Bear. We expected a lot more closer game from C-Jack, a lot better performance out of him. But again, it seemed like Cal Bear just seemed to make that adjustment to the adjustment, like you mentioned, not giving up the deep middle, except for a couple of times to Tyreek Hill. But even then, took Jalen Waddle out of the equation. Forced him to check down underneath to the speed outs, but she got pick six on. Trying to run the ball, wasn't as successful running the ball. So, let me know your thoughts about that. And again, how Cal Bear did in your eyes, Philly.
Yeah, well, I think when you go back to the point that you just made and you talk about how people evaluate teams, how people have been talking about teams and evaluating and judging other people with teams, I would expect for a passer to be more concerned about set feet lead than a runner.
Yeah.
You don't hear the runners talking about, oh, I need this on my running back. I need that on my running back. Or, oh, I need this, I need that. You don't hear that. Okay. And so when you watch what Cal Bear has done, you watch a passer pass without set feet lead and have success and dominate without set feet lead. And then when you look at C-Jack and you look at C-Jack is not a passer. He'll be the first to tell you. He wants to run the ball and he wants to bring you up close and he wants to hit you over the head, with the play action. Okay. And so Cal Bear, knowing this, Cal Bear played to his team strengths. He played to his opponent's tendencies.
Yep.
And he was successful because C-Jack at this point, when you look at what Cal Bear actually gave him on the field, right? We talked about some of the adjustments that C-Jack could have made. And if he looks at this film, he'd be like, damn, I should have done this. I should have done that. And that's the most important part of your wins and your losses. Do you understand? And right now we have a man that can explain everything to us.
Oh, yeah.
He won the game. And so whatever we're talking about doesn't matter because he can explain it to us better than anybody can. What's up, Cal Bear? Welcome. Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations on your win. Man, anything you want to say before we start hitting you up with all the questions?
I mean, not much. It's just tough. It's tough games out here, like everyone's fighting for, it seems pretty much like one spot. Like any game that you lose, it's pretty much over with. And that goes with if C-Jack beats Diggs next week, like Diggs could be the 8th seed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every game right now is just a fight.
Yeah. So one question I want to ask you, especially, like I said, Washington Commanders playbook, that's what you chose this particular game. And running this gun empty bunch, a lot of the quarterback draw, a lot of that Z spot play and stuff and the wide curl that you were hitting C-Jack up over the top with, what attracts you to this gun empty bunch? Because we don't see it. It's pretty much, I consider it very off meta, but very unique. What attracts you to that formation and why do you like to run it?
So basically, like, I'm in a bunch of leagues right now and I was getting like popped for a couple of days and I'm just like looking around for something that kind of you can't really get a tell for like what I'm about to run, because in my other leagues I have like Hot Rod Master and then Gunslinger and everything, so it makes it easier than in this league. But if you look at my stats, like even in the league, on any of my leagues, like everybody gets the ball. Like I only run with my quarterback, but every single like receiver or the running back, they all catch 25 passes. They all have 10 touchdowns. So it's like, if you're going to run a meta defense, that's 0 blitz. I'm going to hit you on quick outs. And if you're going to run a cover 4, I'm a flood one side with verts, score a touchdown. So it's like, it puts a lot of pressure on everything. The one thing I will say with the Texans is like, if you have a good D line or you have a good blitz, it gets rough. Like when I played MP, he was sending something I haven't seen before. So I'm going to obviously lab that up, and then obviously have to adjust for his RPOs and high balls, and then we'll see what happens. But I mean, I just feel confident right now, and I'm just like in the mindset where I'm going to win every game, and I'm going to figure it out. And I want the 1 seed, and I want it to go through Houston. And honestly, like if I don't get the 1 seed, like I'm in the mindset right now where I want Diggs first round. I'm going to play MP next. I'm going to play Dimes. And I just want to have the best run like MU's ever seen with the worst team that was available.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's talk about that, because you've already explained to us your mental toughness and the way that you're approaching this particular season and your opportunity to get to the playoffs. But let's talk a little bit more about how you were explaining to us your growth process and your evaluation process and finding things that work and getting in the lab and using those opportunities, those wins, those losses to propel yourself to be in this position. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I don't think you get enough credit for doing that, and I don't think people that actually do that get enough credit, because it sounds to me like you're not married to a specific style, and so therefore you're able to see what you need to do in order to be effective.
So basically, like coming into this Madden, I kind of just seen the way Madden's been going, especially with abilities, and it's like whoever wins the bowl can pass the ball. Like outside of Dimes, like Dimes is just gonna hit you with whatever you give him, and he's just like literally one of the smartest players. Like there's nothing you can do about that. Like you have to play perfect against him. But everyone else is like, if you can't pass the ball, like you might get some wins, but like you're never gonna win a Super Bowl. So my whole mindset coming into this year was just like, I'm forcing myself to pass, and I'm going to learn how to just read coverage, I'm comfortable in passing. And even before like the PS5 reset, I was in like the stack, because that just worked really good against a cover 0 blitz, but obviously the game's been updated yet. So I kind of got out of that and then went into the 5 wide bunch. And it's something that people just don't see. Like you don't play against that. So unless you're playing me or watching me play and know my tendencies, it's like it's a very difficult offense to stop, because like I said, I'm literally attacking you with 5 different players. Like I'm not even like in my other leagues where I have superstar receivers, like I just use them for decoys. Like I'll bait you with them, and you know it's just very hard to stop. And then on my defensive side, what helped me a lot is having my baby, because I had a month off work, so it's like I really got to go into the lab. I got to see how the game plays. I got to see how different zones play different like meta plays. And like if they have Hot Route Master, I know they're going to do like a C route. I know they're going to do out routes. So I'm like, I really just labbed that up really heavy until my daughter was born. Now I'm back at work. So, you know, I got a crying baby. I got other shit I'm dealing with, like constantly while playing. So, but yeah, that month off really just like took my game to a different level. And I just feel like super confident. And like, no, I feel like I don't get enough respect like in the league. Like before I stopped playing, before there was abilities, like I was a Super Bowl contender every year. Like you couldn't take that away from me. Like I choked a lot of playoff games. Like sometimes I just wasn't built for that moment. But it's like that I don't know. I just feel like nobody gives me respect. Like even in the Discord chat, like somebody will say like, "Oh, I beat Calbear," and they're like, "Oh, he's ass." It's like, all right, well, you're gonna find out. Like that's how I feel. Like everyone's gonna find out.
Well, that's good. It's good that you have a chip on your shoulder. Let's talk a little bit about that. I definitely think you deserve the credit of acknowledging not just your daughter, and congratulations on that. You know, the true mastermind and GM that has allowed you to propel. So you recognize that, you know, she's put you in this position and dad is trying to hold it down. But let's talk a little bit about that. When you talk about, you know, the respect that you don't get, let's talk more about what actually it is that you have been doing. Because like you said, you've won games in the past. You've been in different positions in the past. You've grown as a player. You've taken the time to reevaluate the game after patches. And yes, you had a month off, but you're focusing on constantly improving and getting better. And when you hear people that don't respect your game, is it possible that they just don't understand it and they're really trying to attack you mentally because that's really the only thing that you're leaving yourself vulnerable to?
Honestly, I don't really understand the disrespect. I just feel like I run a bunch of off meta things that nobody's really doing right now. So like, you know, if you run off meta, you're automatically like asked to 90% of the community. That's like just a given. That's just how Madden works. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know. I just feel like there's just some games where like you just have to go back and watch film. Like when I'm playing Madden and I lose and I get blown out, even when I was with my girlfriend and we were like watching when MP blew me out, and I was kind of explaining to her, I'm like MP was giving me a certain play all game and I went away from it just because I felt like the game was over and I was just trying stuff. So I got flooded just because I was like, oh, let me see what works and what doesn't work. But the 5-wide bunch was literally working. It's just I felt like the game got out, like carried away, and I just like mentally wasn't strong enough to just stick with it. So like that happens. But if you go back and watch the game and you watch every play, you watch what route like he was covering and what other routes are open, it just makes you have that like the ability just to identify that like in your next game.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. You mentioned Dimes, you mentioned Diggs. Both of them have won a Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. You have Super Bowl aspirations. And one of the things that you see is you see them getting everybody's best punch. So now that you're getting ready to transition from the hunter to the hunted, okay, respect be damned. You've got your own goals. You've got your own agendas. You're making this team do things that nobody else did. You took what was given to you. You don't complain in the chat. You don't throw shade on other people. You give all of your opponents the respect and the attention that they deserve. And really, this is your opportunity to say whatever you feel like you need to say, whether you win a Super Bowl or not, because your work speaks for itself. Your work speaks for itself. And so nobody can knock that, no matter what they try to put out there, what they try to say. So what is the message that you want the entire league to hear and to know, putting all the rest of that to bed? What is it that you want to say?
Like, I just want to say, you know, I'm prepared. So if you're going to come in and you're not prepared, like, I'm going to take you as an XP game at some point in that game, and I'm just going to start going at your throat. So just get ready for that.
Dang.
Yeah, hey. I mean, come on, Phoenix. You know.
I know. And like I said, I've seen it. I've seen it. Like I said, especially this game that we get to finally like showcase like how tough you actually are. And like I said, for me, even as an off meta player myself, I respect it. I love seeing off meta. I love seeing the adjustments. I love seeing over G, the adjustments out of palms, adjustments out of quarters to Tampa 2 that you were doing. One thing that I wanted to ask you too was you've had experience with the PS5 side with running the Dolphins as well. And then obviously you knew exactly what C-Jack wanted to do coming out in tight offset. Like you said, you labbed that. You know, out of over G specifically, I wanted to ask you, were you mixing it up between the free safety, the normal free safety adjustments that you could do with your defense and the cornerback slot package that you could do with the defense as well? Or were you just sticking to like one of the other packages and kind of just adjusting it from there with like zone drops and stuff like that?
I don't use zone. Like I shouldn't be giving out all my tells, but I don't use zone drops at all. I use match. I just feel like match gets super sticky sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because you'll just see like a drop back from the outside corner or from the safety, and then you won't expect my like inside sub linebackers to stick on a route, and it gets very confusing. And in big nickel G, you can put blues everywhere. So if you're running match, you're putting blues. I can basically cover the whole field. Yeah, I'm gonna give up the 5 yard passes,
Mm-hmm.
but if you just always think it's there, like I did with C-Jack, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put a hard flat out there and get 2 picks. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So you can't. It's just a like both sides of the football. It really makes you think. Like you have to be on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes for me too. Like, whatever somebody else is running, I have to be able to adjust. It's Madden's are really, like I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, Madden's, it's not just like FIFA. Like you're not trying to just score a goal and like get fancy. It's
Mm-hmm.
chess. It's adjusting to the adjustment the whole game until there's no more time. So it's you have to be mentally strong to play this game.
Okay. And speaking of that, now that we finally have you and we can actually see you face to face, and you talk about all of the preparation that goes into it, I need for you to explain to me why we called your game in the PS5 and you didn't know the weapons that were on the other team. Where are you with that now? Have you added that to your game? Do you do your homework? Do you know who's on the other side of the field now?
Honestly, I was just trolling because I know how you get. So I was just trolling you. I was
What
trying to
you
see your
mean?
reaction. I was watching it. So it worked to a charm, like we got some good jokes out of it, and
we did. And
it's all love.
I will say that you talked about having been in the league a long time, and Madden Underground has been together for over a decade, and so there's been a lot of battles, rivalries. You've had a lot of success. I think when people tell the truth and they talk about what's really happened and a lot of the things that we actually were able to build on and enjoy in the past, I think anybody can see that you were dominant, that you were successful, you got more responsibilities in your life, you're doing things. And it's interesting when people try to jump in on those conversations, and it's just like, well, wait a minute, I know this dude, you don't know this dude. Like, I've been playing against this dude, you don't know this dude, you don't even understand the levels. Like you said, this is chess. And so when you talk about your comeback to the league right now, we got one more season to go. Okay. You've done what you've done with the Texans. What do you feel like you're going to be with an upgraded Texans team? You got set feet lead and whatever the hell else that you want. You're going to have, a draft. You still manage your contracts well. You're going to have a lot of talent. When you're the hunted, okay, what's going to be the difference between you being able to do what you've been doing this season when nobody respected you, when nobody gave you the respect that you deserve in terms of taking on this team and turning it around? What is going to be the difference?
Honestly, there's no difference. Like, I want your best every game, and we're going to see where the chips fall, and that's it.
Okay, so last question from me. Who's tougher, NFC or AFC?
Oh my god,
that's obvious.
Oh my god,
like we're in week 16. We're literally about to advance to week 16, and there's not going to be one playoff spot. Like there's not even going to be a playoff berth, I don't think, unless MP gets it just based off the draw. But I don't know. Like that's a crazy hell conference, and let the best man win.
Oh man, because I know I said it was the last thing, but honestly, since we're spitting truth and facts, you took the Texans. Black Phoenix took the Panthers. He had an opportunity to take the Texans. He chose the Panthers.
What?
How do you feel that you would have done if you would have taken the Panthers and been in the NFC?
Honestly, I just don't really care. Like, when Brian hit me up, he said the Raiders or the Texans. And obviously, if you look at the Raiders roster, like, they're stacked. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I was like, oh, I'm going to take the Raiders. What the fuck? But he hit me back. He's like, all I have is the Texans. That's all we have open. I'm like, he's like, "Are you gonna tank? Are you gonna like not try to win?" I'm like, "You know me, I'm gonna try to win every game." With that roster, it was damn near impossible. Like, yeah, Davis Mills and everybody on my team was 89 speed.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. But I like the challenge, and like I said, if I win a Super Bowl with this team this season, with how good the AFC is and the people I'm gonna have to play in the playoffs, like that, this will go down as one of the best seasons of Madden Underground history, and that's what I'm fighting for. That's the only thing that's on my mind, really.
Yeah, no, it'll be the best season. There's no doubt. There will never have been a tougher season. This will definitely be the greatest season, and you already Hall of Fame status for that. So, yeah, you heard it here first. Black Phoenix should be doing more with the Panthers. He isn't. Chose him over the Texans. The Cal Bears putting in work, doing the damn thing. NFC loses out to the AFC. I'm done. Phoenix.
I want to. Hey, shout out to Illuminati, bro. Illuminati's my boy. Keep fighting the NFC. It's not over. And let's face off in the bowl. Anything can happen. If Honcho loses, hey, nobody knows. So just keep fighting, bro. That's my boy, Illuminati. Shout out to him.
Damn. Illuminati got a shout out. Come on, Phoenix.
Listen, I'm not gonna entertain these allegations. First of all, I didn't get a choice outside of the Panthers. All I got was the Panthers, and Brian was hoping to put me as a spoiler alert to Taylor May, but we gonna say that for another time.
Oh, we might get kicked out the chat. You know how we do.
Hey, it's fine. But my mic, hey, it is what it is. That's past seasons. That's past seasons. It is what it is. Secondly, to your point, the AFC is gonna be tougher just naturally, and even no disrespect. I mean, look at what everybody's been doing on the AFC side. I mean, you only have 2, 3, 4 losses from the top 7 teams, top 6 teams. And again, like with Cal Bear winning that one, you bump yourself up to now 11-3, 12-3 now. So it's automatically tougher. I'm not here to debate NFC versus AFC side. We already know what it is. However, to Cal Bear's point, I think a lot of people are more interested in the NFC if Honcho loses in the playoffs. That to me is going to be the most interesting thing. Based on who he plays and how he plays, again, we never know. In the playoffs, anything can happen. Like I said, we can see Cal Bear winning it all, and we can see Honcho win it all. You never know, but it's going to be interesting for the NFC side. Again, depending on how the seeding is going to be, because it's all up in the air. But if Honcho loses, I think the NFC gets more interesting. But in the AFC side, I think it's going to be interesting all the way throughout, from the rest of the regular season to wild card to divisionals to all that stuff. I definitely think that it's definitely going to be hell. Again, shout out to you, Cal Bear, because I'll be honest, I could not do the same thing you did with the Texans right now. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have been in spectator mode. So that's more of a testament to you. Kudos to you to do it for you doing what you're doing out there, man. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I got no other questions, because Philly want to be, player hater of the year.
What are you talking about? I mean, I'm just saying, you said you're going to win the bowl in the NFC and Cal Bear.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not.
I'll paraphrase.
No. Hey, VJs, can we get a clip? Can we get a clip of the end of, what was it? The beginning when I came into the league, and I literally said, I'll see what I can do. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I did not say I'm over here winning the bowl, Honcho going. I did not say nothing. I said we gonna see what we can do. That's literally all I got.
That. But I do. But seriously, real talk. The last thing I'm gonna say is, you know what, Cal Bear, good luck. I would love to see you do it. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think that you're in a position already where you've already made history. And, I definitely want to see you be successful, because then, when people beat you, then, it's a little something. It means a little something to them. And you're good for the league. You've always been good for the league. I'm glad that you're back. And, it was a huge win today. So looking forward to watching what you do when we finally figure out who's actually going to be in these playoffs, in the next 7 days.
Appreciate it for sure. Yeah, I might not, like I said, the AFC is so crazy. I could lose a game and not even make it. So it's just a crazy battle right now. Like, and I know MP is gonna want to beat me, and I haven't beat Taylor Made yet. And he's a good offensive player, so I really have to lab him up. Like, you can't just disrespect somebody from their record, especially like I think he was in the AFC Championship game last year. So and my team, I don't have any abilities on defense, so it's a fight. I'm gonna give up plays, and there's just gonna be random stuff that happens throughout every game. But like I said, I just feel like I'm ready for the moment, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hey, looking forward to the rest of your season, man. Again, congratulations for your win. Again, doing great things with the Texans, man. Balling out of control, man. So much love and respect to you, man. Thank you for taking the time to come out here for the interview, man. We definitely appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. Have a good night, boys.
All right, you
All
too.
right.
You too.
Later.
All right, folks. That was Cal Bear again winning over C-Jack right here. So like you talked about Philly, it's going to be interesting. We look at the rest of the schedule, especially AFC side of the house. Can't lose. You can't lose. You absolutely cannot lose one single game. Otherwise, like Cal Bear mentioned, you could be going from 2-8, 1-8, 3 to out of the playoffs. You never know. So let me get your final thoughts on this game as we're about to head out of here. 45-24. For Cal Bear and the Texans. But let me know your last thoughts before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's real simple, man. Cal Bear, he did his homework. He came out. He executed on both sides of the ball. C-Jack's going to have to do better. But he had an opportunity to play against somebody who's fighting just as hard as he is to get into the playoffs. And that's what you want. No fool's gold here. Definitely make sure you tune in, you subscribe, you hit the like and follow button, because we're going to have some great matchups, in the next week leading up to the Super Bowl. And then once we get to the playoffs, oh my goodness, it's going to be great. It's going to be some great football, and you definitely don't want to miss it.
Yeah, definitely don't want to miss out. So make sure you guys hit that follow or subscribe button. If you're following us on Twitch, if you're following us on Twitter, make sure you show us some love. Again, if you're interested in joining the league, MaddenUnderground.com. Just all you got to do is go there, sign up for the league. We'll get in contact with you. Again, season 4, final season for the Madden Underground circuit. So again, anything can happen, in the rest of the season and the end of the playoffs. So I'm very excited to look forward to that. Again, hopefully there's going to be a lot of great action. Hopefully a lot of good games to call with Philly. And hopefully we also get to see, some commentary from B. James himself and Snipes, the rest of the commentary team. So looking forward to those games. But on that note, we are out of here, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. Much appreciated. We will see you guys in the next game of the week. And on that note, peace. Have a good night.